All right, we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have just a moment of silence for your invocation. Okay, thank you. All right, and we'll go into roll call.
Ms. Alt.
Here.
Mr. Bodkins.
Here.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Fellner.
Here.
Mr. Richard.
Yes. Here.
Ms. Frank.
Here.
Ms. Ziegler.
Here.
You everybody?
Yes,
All right.
I think that was everyone. All right, the elected officials.
Mayor Leary.
Here.
Auditor Satterfield.
I'm here.
Director of Law Palmer.
Here.
Treasurer Sparks. Safety Service Director Ward.
Here.
Thank you. And I think that we have a couple items that we added.
We did the minutes first.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that we have to do the minutes first. So could I get a motion to, did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes, the previous minutes? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from May 10th?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our May 10th meeting.
All right, motion approved by Mr. Richard. Second by Ms. Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion carried. All right, now we have a couple of items that looks like needed added to the agenda, 44 and 45. Dr. Fellner.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add ordinance 2022-44 to the agenda.
All right, motion to add 2022-44 to the agenda by Dr. Fellner, seconded by Ms. Durbin.
Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. That was for ordinance 44.
I make a motion to add ordinance number 2022-45 to the agenda.
All right, thank you, Ms. Alt. Seconded by Ms. Ziegler. Roll call.
Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I will make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion by Dr. Fellner, seconded by Mr. Bodkin. Roll call.
All in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, we do have Mr. Kevin McCain at 321 West Church Street that has, you have 3 minutes. 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, 5 minutes.
Hi guys, I just wanted to point out a small problem I'm having. I'm right behind Rite Aid, and I just remodeled my property. I just put siding on, new roof, new everything. Where it was before, everybody had hit it. Jack Chuck came up with a solution where we'd cut the board so when they hit my house, it would just rip the corner off, and I just put it back together. A little over 30 times at this point. That's a problem. And then now it's $20,000-$30,000 I spent. I can't afford to keep doing that. So now if somebody hits it, I care. So, and it's an 1800s building. There's a lot about it that's cool. I'm gonna keep it. So what I'm trying to see is if not vacate my alley, but make it one way, do something, come up with a solution that would stop the house from getting hit. And it's aluminum siding now, so it would dent it all the way down. So, and one person out of 37 hits has said they had did that. So I'm looking for a solution. I know everybody's touched my corner at some point in time. I had this gentleman out, neighbors all over here, so trying to get this fixed.
behind Rite Aid, is it on the corner of the alley or is it, where on the alley?
So the Rite Aid alley, it goes right up to the middle of the building. So there's a telephone pole about 5 feet over, which gets hit daily. And then, so as they turn, they hit the pole, my garage, or the bushes. That belongs to Mr. Watkins. So.
They trying to go north, Kevin? Not to cut you off, but if they
So-
trying to turn to go north down that alley?
Correct. That's when it seems to happen. So, and if you go south, it seems to be easier to turn there, but if you're going north, you're gonna hit something.
I have a really hard time thinking of things.
Why are they going down the alley?
So, and interesting enough, by the way, they're trying to get to Rite Aid, or leave Rite Aid, and if Rite Aid has a whole bunch of people in line, they skip it. I assume I put a boulder there, which has since been stolen, since they didn't like running over it anymore. So, and then when the boulder hit the side of the house and they drove it all down, broke all the bottom boards off. So, a lot of interesting going on there. But, let me point this out. See if you want to see what I found in the house.
At the back of Rite Aid, as you're going to the drive-through, right there, about halfway to the drive-through, there's an alley that heads south. Well, north and south, but it ends right there at the Rite Aid parking lot.
So this is Rite Aid. I own this blue property. The blue is mine. Their alley, you see this little black dot, that's the telephone pole. So, and it's also, you can't get off of that area unless you go through your private property, which is Rite Aid at that point. So it is, you're in and you have to leave somebody else's property to get out of there anyways. I'm not asking to vacate it again, I'm just asking hold something, make a one-way, block off a
I know,
line, something.
So, Kevin, on who's your neighbor on the other side of the alley?
Well, there's three. My mom owns, I own half
Okay.
side, that side. Mom owns half of that side. And then Mike Watkins, I don't know who the people is about the house. And Paul's last name, I don't know, but
Some of the people in that alley are off of Gill, right?
yes, three of them.
Yeah, four maybe.
Well,
127,
Yeah,
129,
three, because my mom owns all the way up to the middle.
Oh,
And then Paul, then the person I don't know yet, then Mike Watkins.
Anybody access it from the back?
So my mom, me, Paul. That's it. The new neighbors have not even seen the back of the house yet. So.
Well, somewhere between hit number 27 and hit 1, I wish you'd have come on up here and said, hey, so we're on it.
I'm just more worried about, because now I'm remodeling,
Yeah,
it involves real money now. Sure. I spent real money to have this happen, and the neighborhood's gonna look a whole lot better, by the way.
This alley doesn't have a name, does it?
now, and a problem with that alley is that alley has been abandoned in a piecemeal way.
Yeah.
And it's been a headache because there's a utility line that goes down through there that we have sort of not the greatest access to it. So, we'll take a look at the practicality of abandoning it. We don't, you know how well we maintain that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I ask is to make sure we can get all property owners that might agree to abandoning it.
So,
Yeah.
I have everybody on board,
Okay.
but I just understood this was a step here to get to this council to actually use it and just get it brought up. So,
Yeah, I think we probably should send it to streets, maybe, streets and alleys.
I don't know, is that the new way to vacate? I mean, it used to be zoning commission or.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but sometimes it starts, sometimes, like any zoning change, sometimes it starts with the laws and ordinances, and sometimes it starts with planning commission. You guys kind of trade off there,
Your suggestion,
whatever's first.
okay.
So laws and ordinances, not.
I would say laws and ordinances.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's first thing next week and planning commission's the very next day.
Mr. Richard, you want to take that? Take that on? I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry.
Nikki's been right on top of this ever since I talked with her. I talked to Mr. McCain. He's researched it and working on it right now. Trying to figure out how we can get this done. It's not, we haven't pushed it to the side or nothing. It's being handled.
Good. Thank you, Ms.
We'll
Ward.
send you the right.
Thank you.
Okay?
I was just wanted it out in the open, didn't want to use our public resources to call the police or something that.
Oh, for sure.
Think about.
I haven't even done it yet, but I've been there.
I had literally the one that I counted at least, I think I stopped counting at 30 seconds. And it's just like, every week I'll just put it back together. But I have to say, we're about monthly right now, but it's summer now, so now it's gonna be easy again, so. All right. Appreciate everybody for that.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you. When is that next meeting, Mr. Richard?
First week in
It'll
June.
be the first, Tuesday.
June
The
seventh.
June, yeah.
Oh,
June
okay.
7th.
June 7th?
Yes.
All right, very good. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, very good. Moving on to legislation. Ordinance 2022-34.
Ordinance number 2022-34, entitled Ordinance Retaining McMahon DeGulis LLP as special counsel to represent the city of Galion in regulatory compliance matters and declaring an emergency.
This is the third reading. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Reed.
I'd like to read something. I'm very much against this, but I want to read this. Hiring outside legal counsel is just a waste of taxpayers' money. Hiring outside legal counsel is totally unnecessary. Cities and villages can and do work directly with the Ohio EPA that saves time and money. The village of Crestline does just that, works directly with the Ohio EPA and uses their own village law director. Recently, Crestline was awarded a $5 million grant for its wastewater treatment plant. Hiring outside legal counsel is all about covering up the mayor's negligence in managing our city utilities. The mayor just needs to do his job. He has known about the city's water problems since 2014 and has done anything meaningful to address them. He's ignored the Ohio EPA, the ODNR, and many city consultants. He's been negligent in providing safe and affordable water and negligent in providing a properly functioning wastewater treatment plant and properly functioning sanitary sewers. This is what council needs to work on, not hiring a law firm. The mayor just needs to do his job.
Ms. Robbins.
In response to that, you failed to mention the 4 years it took to get where they are now. It's been 4 years. Probably dealing with themselves to slow the process up. That's all. They're just things that not, pardon?
Talking about Crestline?
Yes, I am, sir. It just doesn't come that easy. And Mr. Palmer would not be doing this if he didn't have to. He probably feels though he shouldn't handle this. Some things. He said he's going to take charge of most of them, and I think he would. I really do.
Well, here's, Ms. President, I'd like to add one thing to this that, which is being missed by Ms. Durbin, is that this recommendation did not come from the mayor's office directly. This recommendation came from the engineering firm that is doing the specs and all the necessary things for the treatment plant. They are recommending highly that we have an outside source. If you were, I'll use this analogy, if you were in trouble with the law, which you obviously, based on your statement, is accusing the mayor of being in trouble with EPA law, okay, would you hire a tax attorney? No offense to Mr. Palmer. Or would you hire a criminal attorney to protect your rights? By hiring this, or by bringing these folks in, which is not uncommon in many cases. No, it's nothing, I don't know about the Crestline deal, but in my experience in private business, you always bring in the expertise that you need for anything that has to do, especially with government regulations, because they are written by lawyers. They're not written by regular folks like me and you and all that. So the other thing is that these folks asked for these folks. The mayor's office agrees with it. I agree with it. I think it is actually a benefit to the citizens. My question is, why are we wanting to penny pinch on something as important as this? I would thought that it would be more important to try to focus in, get as much expertise as we can to make sure we go and get the necessary changes and updates that are needed. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Right. Mr. Palmer.
Just one quick observation, I mentioned this last time, I'll just mention it one more time. This is only, I've been doing this now for over 8 years. This is only the second time in an entire period that the necessity has been realized to do something like this. So it's not something which is being done in a cavalier fashion. It's being done in a studied fashion and only after a lot of dialogue and research. That's it.
I also want to remind the council that we have in there structured parameters around how much money is being spent on this. So we have safe control over that. I believe that, like Mr. Richard, Mr. Bodkin said, that the urgency of this is really important to this. I believe to the citizens to have it taken care of properly and quickly and correctly, so we don't have to double back at all on anything. The assurance that an attorney of this fashion can give to streamline the process and create one, less double backs on paperwork, I think the better off we are and the more fluent that the process can be, so that we can finalize the progress on the project. So, Dr. Fellner?
Oh, I just was going to ask Ms. Frank if she felt like she was up to speed on the topic. Okay, I just didn't know if we needed a summary or not. Thanks. Again, I just would like to reiterate that this is not retaining an attorney to fight anything illegal or to fight in any way the EPA. It's to facilitate the working with the EPA. And I believe that, it's gotten more and more complex, as the decades have gone on. And I think anything that makes the job of the administration easier will ultimately help the citizens. I agree in the as far as the amount goes, it's not a zero sum, but a small and worth it on a as needed basis, not a consistent basis. And I think just to look in the rearview mirror and dump the blame on somewhere is the easy thing to do, and I think we need to do the difficult thing.
The only thing I want to say is how do we assure our citizens, though, that paying this money out and using this attorney, that everything's going to be followed as they say? Because in the past there was consultants and things were not being followed, and we used taxpayers' money to pay all these consultants and it was not being followed. So how do we assure them now that what this attorney suggests is against what the consultants before suggested, that money is going to be?
And that was addressed in the plan that the engineering firm came up with that we approved to council, our last council meeting, I think. They came up with where it identified the areas that we needed help, and they put in there, and we put in for the planning and then the ARPA funds to fix all the stuff that they identified. So I think that kind of answers that question, because I think that answers your question. I understand what you're asking. If we continue to pay for studies, how are we going to follow them? I think that this is going to add a layer of accountability to the engineering firm to do a good job, to the citizens of Galleon that we're going to follow the plan and to the administration to follow through with the recommendations because there's so many working pieces. I think that it's gonna make, the checks and balances I think are gonna be there to make sure everything's getting done, everything's done.
Next question. What consultants, what were you referring to that wasn't followed? Let me understand that.
I mean, for years, there's been things that are supposed to be done and the water treatment plant is not up to par, which tells me that not everything that these consultants recommended was done, or else this stuff would be done by now. We would not still be in the issues that we are in today.
So you're not referring to any specific report and any recommendations that we didn't follow?
I'm specific to the EPA reports that this stuff has been listed for years to get done and has not gotten done.
It's really, it's just not accurate, and I don't know what else to say. 4 months of experience, it's like amazing.
Wow, okay.
Anybody have anything else?
You can't refer to
I'm
one
not gonna argue
report.
with you.
Oh, you're just gonna say that the
I read the
consultants
EPA
have been.
reports. And this has been going on for years, not just 4 months. It's been going on for years.
No, 4 months is how long you've been researching this. It's just not true. Just not true that we have been ignoring what's been recommended. It really doesn't serve a purpose. I think everybody's expressed their opinion. I don't have a vote in this. I appreciate the support for getting this moving forward, and y'all can, say what you want. I'd like to talk about Crestline, but I'm here to talk about Galleon because that is so far off what really happened in Crestline. It's just no context. So that's all I'll say.
I'd just like to say that when you're dealing with entities like the EPA, which I've dealt with government agencies, and I think that, it's important to have somebody that has that expertise, that can help the community and help, help people understand and the community understand what is going on and what we're doing. I know as a citizen that has read the paper, if I read that there was this EPA attorney and this was, supporting, I would feel more confident in, in having that person provide recommendations and have them help us. And I also understand that it's not just a, blank check. There's an amount, and they're not going to, just keep going with it. There's like, my understanding is there's plans for keeping that accountability and the cost.
Thank you.
Mr. President, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, Mr. President, I'm going to make a motion that we pass ordinance 2022-34.
Motion to pass 2022-34 by Mr. Richard,
I'll second that motion.
seconded by Ms. Ault. Roll call, please. Oh, discussion? Is there any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ault,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
No.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegert.
No.
All right, motion carried 5-2. Without Mr. Ivy for a while, I had to think about how many people are here. All right, thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2022-35.
Ordinance number 2022-35, entitled an ordinance authorizing the safety service director to advertise for bids and to enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder, therefore, as provided by law, for the Grant Road Turn Lane project to proceed, authorizing payment therefore, and declaring an emergency.
All right. This is the third reading also. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Bodkin?
Is this where our road project will start, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, this is the left-hand turn lane.
And we're gonna start there and work our way this way.
No, the big project's going on this, what I think will the sequence is that the widening on 598 in this area we pretty much accomplished. What I'd like to do if this passes is sell the project late summer, get bids so that the project could start this year but complete next year.
Is it accurate that they are creating a turn lane on the westbound already, right? That's
No,
It's
the
widening
westbound
already.
will end up with 2 lanes, no separated
Okay.
right-hand turn lane. So this will be a left-hand northbound, eastbound, going north, left-hand turn lane.
They did widen it at this intersection.
Yeah, they did a
by
little bit.
40.
They did. I noticed that.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, and got rid of that massive pothole.
You're right.
Reoccurring for those people who come from Fairview Market and want to go to 30, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. But it's straightforward. I could, there are two this is a use of the Transportation Improvement District, so there's state money in it. It's grown like every other highway project that we'll experience over the next couple of years, grown in budget cost. So we've got the non-state share covered, and really we've had so much fun talking about these other ordinances that this hadn't gotten much discussion or attention. So it's a positive and it's kind of responsible growth out there in that area. I don't want to go on and repeat myself again, but this will really help access to the new spec building, which will start this fall and be completed sometime in 23. So that this new building will access off of Grant Road and not 598, which is a major safety improvement access. So it's a neat little project.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Dr. Feldman.
I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2022-35.
Motion by Dr. Feldman, second by Mr. Biden. A roll call? Or discussion? I guess, I'm sorry. If not, roll call?
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins, Ms. Durbin,
No.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Motion carried, 6-1. Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2022-36.
Ordinance number 2022-36, entitled Ordinance Amending Ordinance number 2021-114, Permanent 2022 Appropriations by appropriating from unappropriated funds in various funds and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Dr. Feldman?
Yes, part of this ordinance, section 2, is the financing of the ordinance that was passed earlier, the $20,000 appropriated for legal services regarding the attorney consultations. So the monies that were discussed in that are capped at $20,000, and should the need for additional financing come through, it must come through a request. So, as Ms. Frank alluded to, it's not a blank check into the coffers to be used. Mr. Palmer, there's another section, section 3.
Yes.
That's an additional 20,000. And right offhand, could you explain that one?
Absolutely. We talked about this last time. The section 2 you accurately described completely, Dr. Fellner. That is the actual payments that will go to our retained legal counsel. Section 3 is the law department is sharing the expense of the GPD engineering services, their consultation, and that's what that is. That's why it goes into other technical services and not legal services.
And the, section 4, Mr. Mayor, could you, take a
Yeah,
stab
that
at
is it's an oversight in the 22 budget. I'll back up. In 21, we did not appropriate the license plate fees. Okay? They start out at about zero from building the project the previous year and grow over the course of the year. Last year, we didn't appropriate that. I don't know why. It didn't happen. So now this year, we have the $200,000 from last year that is unappropriated, sitting in the fund balance. You could look at Fund 203 and see that. And in the spending document, in the expense appropriation, there's only this year's $200,000. So what this does is supplementally appropriate money that's in 203 so that we have pretty close to $400,000 to fuel our local paving program. So it's an oversight. I guess we saved it because we didn't spend it last year. And Evans, one of the questions that we get a lot is, what does that $20 go for? And last year it didn't get spent. This year we're going to spend both 21 revenue and 22 revenue. So, if I might, Mr. President, that $20,000, it's not a frivolous thing, but I would be really surprised if either of those amounts in section 2 or 3 that we hit that amount. It's just we're not going to utilize them in this consultation mode really that much or for that long. So somebody wants to keep track of that, they come back in November and point this date out. But I really we have no intention of spending more. But I think, as it was pointed out early on, if you don't put enough in and things don't go quite right, then we come back in. It took us 6 weeks to get to this point tonight, so I want to thank council for passing that. I don't think we want to replicate that. So 20 is a little bit generous, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Proctor.
Am I correct that I thought I heard one time that is your budget for your department, basically, wasn't it? 1,000, didn't we put it, that's not a budget, but money was allocated to you to use if you needed it?
That's what this
And
would
you
be.
haven't used it before. We never
Oh,
had.
you're right.
You said you
It's
had.
been 8 years and I've never used my legal services line to the extent that it's been funded.
Okay.
I just don't. I'm very fastidious and stingy about it.
Well, I seem to think you're doing a good job with what you work with, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Can you,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
can you just explain a little bit more about the 200,000? Because it says street improvement fund, transportation, street improvement, capital outlay, and infrastructure.
Yeah, there are 3 street funds, 3 funds, 201, 202, and 203, that fund different parts of the annual street maintenance. 203 is where all of the $20 license plate fees pay into.
Okay.
Okay? And as I said a minute ago, last year, for reasons, I'll take the blame. We didn't get it appropriated. We didn't spend it last year.
But it was COVID.
Yeah, it was
For the
COVID.
last
It was
couple
COVID on the memory. But in any event, this year, as we look through how we're going to fund our big projects, like the one that was just passed, and look at our sort of standard paving program, we realized that we actually had $400,000 available to do local paving. So that's where the money came from. It's a double helping. It's 2 years of allocation. So
whenever it says that street improvement fund, and then the transportation, and then the street improvement to capital outlay to infrastructure, basically what it's saying is those are we're gonna use that $200,000 for street improvement.
For all street improvement. Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are kind of tricky to read, but like if you look at section 3, you kind of follow it, goes from general fund to law to contractual services to.
That's just the fun, that's the fun lane, it's got all those layers and it gets down to, it's actually infrastructure in that fund.
Okay,
So
thank
that's just the,
Hey, Mr. President, I'll save something in my report if I can touch on it now. We had talked at the last committee meeting, Mr. Bodkins, about bringing in the firm that assessed our streets so that we took a look at the list that we're close to approving and bidding out and double checking their score, if you will. That happened Friday, Saturday of last week, I think, end of last week. So we'll have, at your next committee meeting, we'll have that report and see how much the scientific engineered assessment matches up with our, our kind of local good old boy assessment. So we'll have that for next meeting. And then I think we'll be real close to voting that or some other amended list, out, get in front of council and get it bid. As we could all imagine, prices of the components of the asphalt are going up on, I don't want to say daily basis, but pretty much a daily basis. So, anyways, thanks for that allows me to cover that now.
Thank you. Anything else? Dr. Feldman?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2022-36.
Motion passed 2022-36 by Dr. Feldman. Second by Mr. Richard. Roll call. Our discussion. If not, roll call.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler.
Yes.
Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
No,
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
All right, motion carried 6-1. We're on ordinance 2022-20. This is the second reading.
Ordinance number 2022-20, entitled Ordinance Establishing Sewer Charges for Customers Within and Outside the Corporation Limits of the City of Galion for bills rendered on and after June 1st, 2022, repealing inconsistent ordinances and resolutions and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Do you have any discussion? Ms. Alt?
This is the second reading, as Julie, you said. This came through the Utilities Committee after we talked about it for 2 months, and this really just talks about establishing a higher rate for just the sewer to make it consistent with the water rate that is currently being charged to citizens. I think it was pointed out in the last meeting that the last price adjustment to the sewer was back in 2014. So it's been some time since that cost has been raised. I think it has also been discussed at length that, it's with great consideration that we are needing to raise this rate. We talked about being pretty fiscally responsible with everything that we've done in regards to cutting costs, cutting down administrative costs for the sewer department. And I think that right now, where we're at is that we need to increase these rates to not only make sure that the sewer system continues to function, that the repairs can be made that need to be made, and that we're not operating at a deficit anymore for the sewage systems. So I think that we've had good discussion so far, but I think we've also discussed it a lot.
Thanks, Ms. Alt.
I'd say just one thing, because there's not 6 votes, so there's no sense for prolonging this and giving a forum for people who want to demagogue they're only protecting the small people in town. I don't want to hear that. But it's important to note in 14, that was the last time rates were adjusted, and I think most people, you know, Ms. Haldeman, a lot of the council members, that was a rate reduction. So I don't even know when the last time they raised rates. But it's been quite a while, and what has happened over those many?
2012.
I'm responsible for a lot of negligence, but I didn't mind. So anyway, it's been 14. I think we saw what the reason the reduction was voted on by that council is there was a rather sizable sewer fund balance, and this was a way to reduce the balance on sort of a predictable annual basis. I think if we go much further with this, we'll start to erode into what you might call the danger zone, or getting to a point where the operating deficits really impact our overall fund balance and sort of solvency over any sort of a major incident, major outage capital costs. Anyway, it was 14, 12 since they went up, they went down to 14, and they've been that way, almost 8 years.
I think Mayor makes a good point. I was sitting at City Council in 2014 and was part of the discussion on the sewer rates at the time when we lowered them. I don't remember if I was here for the actual vote or not, but I was part of the discussion. I think I was part of the vote. And at that time, the fund balance was slowly increasing and not decreasing. And so we made the decision to lower the sewer rates. This is kind of, now we're in different times, I think, with chemical prices escalating. I know that we're even within this area, not the only municipality who's facing these types of things. And I think that there are municipalities in close proximity to us that are doing similar, looking at similar increases. And so I think it's important to note that this is not affecting just us. It's something that's affecting everyone. And I think getting ahead of it is what I think a few council people had mentioned that in the previous ordinance that maybe we weren't ahead of things then. And so I would hope that we're not part of the group a year or 2 years from now that wasn't what was putting things off, because that's not what we want to do. So that's just my thoughts on it. Ms. Ziegler.
Can I just ask what the increase is? Do we have that established yet?
Yeah.
It's in the table.
It's on,
It's been in the table since it was introduced.
it's on.
Voted out of council. It's in the
It's
table.
one more page, I think.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So the one on the left is current, and then the one on the right is proposed. The second one down is sewer. Mr.
I have a question on the proposed in-town rates for water and sewer. It's got $7.51 as the minimum charge, and you have $10.33 per 100 cubic feet for one unit. Then it drops down to one unit, $7.24 per 100 cubic feet. What's the
Yeah, the
difference?
first unit is the $10 and some change. I don't have
And the second one
And
would be
then this-
$7.24.
and then every additional
One would
unit.
be $7.24.
every additional unit above the first unit.
But I wanted to clarify.
But that seven, then there's a minimum of $7 for like an activation. Is that right? Is that right, Ms. Ward?
So if you use one unit of water, you don't have to pay that, or one unit, you don't have to pay that $7.51 anymore. I had that same question. So if you use a unit of sewage, you pay $10.33, not $17.84.
So the question is, maybe Ms. Ward is best to answer
I
this.
figured out what it was, but I just wanted to clarify. Yes, I understand it. No problem.
So would you say that how much would, just a normal family, what would they be seeing as an increase on a monthly basis? Because I think that that's what the community is gonna look at, is that number, $3.20 or something?
Yes, but I think anywhere between from a unit to 2 units probably is the normal.
Yeah, the four, it's
Don't
like
know
the,
off the top of my head about what
a decent rule of thumb is 1 unit per person in the household. And, of course, that goes up and down. based on grooming and how many teenagers, those sorts of things. But that's a pretty good rule of thumb. So a family of 4, it's around 340, which is not, it's not one person who will vote for this doesn't realize that's an impact, on people who have tight finances. Everybody realizes that. But one thing that's happened since 14, the operating, whoever it said, I think Karen did, that we kept the operating costs down, but I think most folks in the room will remember we've made 2 capital purchases, the screw pump and the lift station, and what we've been doing with those debts is simply treading water, issuing notes, paying the interest, and reissuing the notes. So what we hope to do with this increase is get closer to a steady state, although this increase will not enable us to retire all of that debt. We're not here to talk about that tonight, but I'm proposing that we begin to look at the 401 Permanent Improvement Fund as a means to pay down some of that sewer debt. So again, I don't want to, that's not in this, but that's looking at, okay, this will break even. If it passes in our operating, now how are we going to tackle the debt? And there is an evolving plan to do that.
Ms. Frank, the best way for folks at home to understand what the costs are going to be are they will mirror the water moving forward. So if someone is to look at their water bill and see that it's broken apart, sewer and water, if they were to look at their water bill, they will see what their sewer bill will be. So it's an easy comparison. This is what the sewer bill currently is, and this is the water bill will be what the sewer bill is as well, so they can see the difference there, and that difference is what the increase would be.
I just think it's important in layman's terms, because that's what people read.
Yeah,
When they see the word increase, so that's why I think it's important that, it's not hugely significant, $3.20 for considering that there was no change since 2014, so that's why.
Yeah.
Just looking at that.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have any other discussion? This is the second reading. If we don't have any other discussion, we'll move on to 2022-42.
Ordinance number 2022-42, entitled Ordinance Amending Ordinance number 2021-114, Permanent 2022 Appropriations by appropriating from unappropriated funds, transferring funds in various funds, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Dr. Feldman?
Yes, this came through Finance Committee. I did not invite a member. I knew that Mr. Satterfield was going to be on vacation, and wrongly I did not invite Ms. Colleen here, so we kind of stumbled through this ordinance the best we could. However, Mr. Satterfield is here, so I'm going to ask him to give us a section-by-section recount of this, if he would, please.
Well, I'm going to try.
Okay.
At least up until you get to the 340B program, which is sections 8 and 9. Those are self-appropriated funds. I mean, that's a grant fund, and they're going to get that money in, and they're just asking to appropriate those funds
To the health service.
to the health department.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So sections 2 through 6, we have debt rollover coming up in July. You'll see a lot of ordinances and legislation is coming regarding that. $2.609 million is what we have to pay off between the principal and interest. And looking at the budget, that was budget, the 22 budget, and there was not enough money in these funds to pay the debt. So I kind of broke them down into principal and interest. If you look at 2 and 3, that's the 601 fund, appropriating $4,500 in principal and $4,000 in the interest line. Section 4 and 5 is the 603 fund. That's where the big debt is. The screw pump and the lift station, I believe, and we're 170,000 we're looking at into the principal retirement in the 603 and the $1,000 in the interest side. And section 6 and 7 is or section 6 is 608, adding $40,000 to the principal retirement. Section 7 is the Cheshire Fund, and basically what that is that's a transfer. That is not adding money, that is just transferring money from the debt service and principal to the interest. So it's basically a wash, but we're just taking it from the one fund into the other inside that. So the 80-10 to the 80-20 principal retirement to the interest side. There is some wiggle room here just in case something comes up with unforeseen numbers. I did not go to the penny on any of those, so there's a little bit of extra money in all of those transfers. The screw pump, I think, is what we have this year, Mayor, that we have to pay down. I think
We're paying down a
$10,000
portion of that this year.
So, in essence, what you're looking at coming forward is that the debt retirement is 2.609. The debt that we will sign off on, and you'll have legislation coming out to put that out for bid and stuff, is going to be like 2.59 million. So, take $10,500 off of what is mandatorily has to be paid down in the screw pump. And then the mayor and I have had precursory conversations about looking at long-term ability to reduce this debt and how this happens. That really needs to happen. You can't keep rolling 2.6 over and paying the interest on it. So that in a nutshell. And I had a couple spreadsheets I put together for the debt that I gave to the finance committee. I apologize, I don't have them up here for everybody. I can get those to you, but it kind of gave an idea of what the OWDA debt is, the OPWC debt is, the bond debt, long-term, and put it over the duration of what these are. There's some 20, some 40-year debt there. The OWDA debt we cannot pay off. It's locked in. They set us into that. So this specific is going into the bond reduction or the debt reduction that we roll over a year. Just to make sure that we have the monies available. So we need to get in front of this and have any money appropriated so that when the legislation comes through and we have it, the debt rollover is July 21st, I believe. So that will be coming forward here pretty quick, and depending upon who takes the notes, if it's the same company, it'll be pretty simple. If it's not, there'll be a couple extra days that'll take place, but work with Allison Bingley on that. And she's been very easy to work with, and any questions that I've had or we've had they're answered really quickly. So hopefully that didn't go too fast or too general.
Perfect. All of this stuff is paced, expecting to have to go a couple of meetings. That seems to be the way it is this year. So if this is like, wow, there's a lot here for me to digest, there's some things that I'd like to go into. It's probably, I don't want to. This is just the supplement. When you look in the budget, there is money already in these line items. And it's been determined that it is erring, if you will, on the side of caution to have a little bit more there. So it doesn't, this and what I would call the companion ordinance, the next one could probably, in my view, write another 2 weeks and let y'all ask some questions about it and understand kind of where we came from. So neither of these, while they have emergency clauses and they'll need those votes to pass that, there's no immediate urgency to pass this one, or in my view, the next one tonight. A first reading would probably get us along the way.
This is the health department one.
Brian, is the health department one more?
I'll be honest with you, it's the first I saw the health department part of this. Didn't know what to add to this order.
Does anybody have any other questions or any other discussion on this ordinance? If not, we can move on to 43. So ordinance number 2022-43.
All right, here we go. Ordinance number 2022-43. An ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $2,596,700 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying the costs of A, improving the city's sewer treatment plant by acquiring screw pump equipment, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto. B, improving and upgrading the city's electric distribution system by replacing lines, poles, conductors, insulators, transformers, and other auxiliary equipment, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto. C, improving the city's sanitary sewer system by constructing a lift station along State Route 61, together with related site improvements and all necessary appurtenances thereto. D, improving various public infrastructure improvements within and serving the Brant Road area, including but not limited to the design and construction of approximately 1,000 lineal feet of new roadway between State Route 598 and Keller Drive, the widening of approximately 925 lineal feet of roadway along State Route 598, including the design and construction of a turn lane and construction of the necessary stormwater drainage systems for the property, together with all incidental work and related appurtenances thereto. And E, road construction improvements to State Route 19 Harding Way between certain termini, including but not limited to the design, construction, and resurfacing of approximately 4.19 miles of roadway from the Morrow Crawford County line heading west to the corporation limit, repairing and construction of curbs and curb ramps and replacement of signage and guardrails, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency.
Good job.
And I get to read it again.
Just that one.
Just that one spot.
Yeah, and within the ordinance, there is a breakdown of each item on there, A through E. So, Dr. Feldman.
Yes, this came through Finance Committee, and there was a discussion about, and I know, Mary, you're gonna have to take this because I'm gonna just botch it up, but it had to do with the Keller Drive, and all of the phrases that apply to that, and using those funds instead of the construction of that roadway to pay down some of the items or part of an item mentioned in the previous ordinance. So the two big things, as you have said often, are the screw pump and lift station, which reducing our debt, benefits the city. So the committee was unsure how to kind of proceed with the motion to make an amendment or a motion to amend the ordinance. So,
right. This ordinance, as presented, allows us to it allows us to just roll over those notes. There's no. So this would be the maximum amount that we would borrow. If in the upcoming committee meetings, there is an agreement to use some of the capital improvement funds to pay down some of that 603 debt that's in there that Julie just read, and a portion of the Valero access point and Keller Road extension. Those are three projects that that I'm gonna recommend we look at paying down a portion of those and get us on a debt retirement plan that doesn't cause us to renew these notes for 10 years and then have all this principal looking us in the face. So I think we'll get into that in the next month. The main point is this big ordinance allows us to borrow all that we need and assumes, I repeat myself, but assumes that we won't pay down any debt. We have a pretty high degree of confidence that when a consensus is reached, that we'll agree it's in the city's best interest to pay down some portion of those three, I think of six debts, I think, that are in that note. But three of them we should chip away at. I think that answers the question.
Yes.
So.
My question to Mr. Palmer, is, so that motion is still, or the idea of how to amend this is still in process, correct?
Yeah, well,
It won't come to you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Sam, sorry.
yeah.
I don't think you want to amend the ordinance.
Okay.
You want to leave the ordinance as is because it allows us to, if that falls through, that it maximizes the amount of the rollover to 2.596, which is where we're at.
That's
So we leave the ordinance as is. If we choose as a council and the city to lower the debt or pay down some of the debt, we can always borrow less back.
absolutely.
But this maximizes what we can do.
I think that's what the stumbling block the other night was. We were trying to micromanage this a little bit, but what you just cleared it all up, and that makes perfect sense. So we can, this is the simplest way. It allows us maximal monies to roll over everything, and then we can retrofit our desire to pay down some debt to that.
That's fair, Sam.
And while I'm not 100% sure there's an urgency, the sooner we get this passed, the sooner we can send the letters out to the financial institutions.
Right.
So that they know what the number is.
You mentioned a July deadline, but we've got to get on that well before that.
Correct. We need to send, and Allison is going to send together, she's already got letters drafted for us to send out to the financial institutions. She's got a handful of institutions to send those to. But the sooner we can get those to them and we get a deadline date for when they want to bid on these, and she said that they will wait till the very end to see what the interest rates are. But it gives us an idea so we're not coming up against a July 10th or 12th deadline where we have to have a special meeting to push this through.
Right.
This more in line than the previous ordinance, I think has a little bit more urgency that allows us that time to get the information out to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with that. So passing 43 tonight, if the votes are here, it does allow that process to go forward.
Correct.
And if we issue a little bit less, then none of the competitors would adjust their rate based on, let's make up a number, instead of 2.5 million, 2.2 million. They're not going to say, well, we're not honoring that interest rate. So I don't think it'll mess with that. Doc's question, if I might, Mr. President, on 42, the one we just gave a first reading, that one is the one that might get amended either probably between the second and third reading after finance had a chance to think about it and have some discussion among the committee about how much we pay down. That one, then we would supplementally appropriate to pay down some more money, if that doesn't make sense. And we might transfer not from unappropriated funds, but like possibly, and I used the wrong word at the committee, it would come from 402, whether it's a transfer or an advance or whatever, but that's where the money, I say two, I meant 401, that permanent improvement fund. So without money in the water, I think that the auditor is correct about 43 if there's the votes to pass it.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. If you vote to suspend the rules, there's not 6 votes, It just goes on its first reading.
That's correct.
Well, that's a good way to test the temperature of the water and the,
Dr. Fellner?
Yes, this is something that we do yearly, correct? So, you know, some of these projects are completed, most of them, and we're still paying on them. So I don't see anything in here that is a brand new project, because these are projects that we've already, like I said, completed. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and proceed to the final reading on ordinance 2022-43.
Motion made by Dr. Fellner, seconded by Mr. Bodkins.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins? Ms. Durbin?
No.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-1. Right, that was a motion to suspend the rules. Dr. Fellner?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2022-43.
Motion passed by Dr. Fellner, seconded by Mr. Bodkins. Roll call. Discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins?
Yes.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Right, this is a ordinance that was added to the agenda, ordinance 2022-44.
Ordinance number 2022-44, entitled Ordinance Authorizing the Safety Service Director to provide American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds to Sarah Beagle and for supplemental funding assistance and declaring an emergency.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes, this came through Finance Committee. We have had a couple of presentations by representatives from Sarah Beagle, one during committee meeting and another as an open discussion in front of full council. At that time in front of full council, there was no ordinance associated with it, and it came back to committee for this last finance. Some of the questions that were raised or concerns were an agreement to find out how the money was being spent if approved. We were told that that is not a problem, and with the entities that they generally deal with, it's kind of expected. So attached to this ordinance is that contract. The other thing that they provided was a pretty specific, a very specific area on how the funds were going to be used. So I think if they had a plan, it was not just, oh, could we have money? So it was very well line item. And the third thing was that they are going to take this money, if given, and put it into a separate fund line so that the ease of finding out where the money goes and how it was spent will be very streamlined and straightforward.
You did it right.
You sure did.
Okay.
Right on it.
We have representatives here, so if you have any further questions, I'm sure they'll be happy to answer them.
Ms. Hall?
I just want to let council know that I had quite a lot of questions since this first came up, and I talked to Bernadette, and we got a lot of information from them. And I think that they were really able to answer all of my questions thoroughly and present a plan that makes sense for how they're going to spend the money and increase the number of students that they're available to take. I know whenever we first looked at it, I was kind of I don't know, maybe not feeling it. But after kind of listening and understanding more, I do understand the plan and how that money will be used to increase the number of children that can be accepted into the daycare and allow more workers to come into or from Galion because they do have reliable childcare. So I think that, you know, after looking at everything and understanding it thoroughly, I think that this is something that is important. And I think it's a good use of the ARPA money. I mean, I think that's what it was there, is there for the community.
Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Mr. President, yes, to piggyback on Ms. Ault, the Sarah Beagle's been around in our community for a long time.
Ever.
And so they have always given to the community the needed daycare that unfortunately, like other communities, don't have as much. We need more daycare. I think everybody agrees with that. So I would like to see us go ahead and try to get them moving with this. So unless there's any objection, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2022-44 and proceed to the final reading.
All right, motion to suspend the rules to final reading. Mr. Richards, second, Ms. Ziegler.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins, Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
And unless there's any other discussion, I would like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2022-44.
Motion passed by Mr. Richards, second by Mr. Bodkins. Do we have further discussion? I think somebody mentioned in one of the previous meetings that this helps Sarah Beagle, but this helps the citizens get the child care they need to go to work, and it helps the city in a whole. I think Sarah Beagle's been a big part of making the lives of so many young adults and just people in general, able to get to work and make a means for themselves. So they have that resource and education for the kids and childcare. So I think that this is a good thing. Do you have anyone have anything else? If not, roll call.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Thank you. Last ordinance is ordinance 2022-45.
Ordinance number 2022-45, entitled Ordinance Amending Section 1 of Ordinance number 2021-82 as amended regarding the number of authorized employees by classification in each city department and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading. Dr. Fellner?
Yes, this came through Finance Committee, and it has to do with the utility business office. In years past, there has been what do we call our indicator? What do we call it in the utilities office? Building office manager, and it was a position that was held for years, but it was not a union, it was an outside position. There's a need actually a person, without the office manager, the managerial duties fall to the safety service director. There's a person currently in the building office that is acting in that capacity, but is reluctant to take that position. She's totally capable and wanting to do the job, as I understand it, but not willing to give up the safety net of the union. So we are adjusting, we're not adding, we're creating a position, but we're not adding more staff. So, did I get that right? So that's what this ordinance, and I think that Ms. Ward has talked extensively with her, and she is, I mean, there'll be no training, she's doing the job right now, but we give her the added benefit of union position. And there's a little bump in money too, but you want to touch on that? I don't think it's.
Yeah, sure. She would move from the administrative clerk classification, which is an A grade 11, up to a 16, which is where all of the other crew chiefs are. So it's about $6,000 a year increase for her. This has gone to the union, they've approved it, civil services approved the creation of the position, so now it's up to you when you add a position to the staffing ordinance.
We're going from 3 administrative clerks to 2 administrative clerks and 1 clerk crew chief.
Yeah, it's
Any other discussion?
I think it's nice that you guys were able to kind of realize that this would be a good move for her and kind of add some more oversight into the utilities office with having the crew chief there. And I think that it's nice also that that will mimic the other crew chiefs' reimbursement for their labor kind of across the board to make everything, fair and kind of how it should be. So I think it's nice to see whenever the administration can see where people are going above and beyond and support them in that. I'd like to say thank you to your office for that.
She is doing the job already, and it's only fair that she be compensated for doing it.
Creates a nice career path for someone as well.
Mr. President, do we need any type of appropriation change on this because of the amount?
At this point, I don't think so, because that $6,000 is split between 4 funds. So in the budget, we build in a little bit of wiggle room. So 6,000 divided by 4, it's not, it's not a blow the bank.
Okay.
Is this suspension worthy?
Or,
I mean, that would expedite it, but.
Absolutely. I'm sure she would be appreciative of us being able to move the process forward, but it's certainly not an emergency. She's been doing the job for quite some time without the benefit of the title or the compensation, but it would be appreciated.
Mr. Richard.
Mr. President, I think that somebody that has taken the initiative to be able to do a step above what she is required to do should be compensated for that. So, based on that information and that, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2022-45 and proceed to the final reading.
Motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Richard, second by Ms. Grant.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Bellman.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Have a motion to suspend the rules. Any other discussion? Mr. Richard.
Unless there's another discussion, I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance, excuse me, my voice is going, 2022-45 and proceed to the final reading.
Oh, you're passing it now.
I'll just pass,
Motion to
my
pass.
bad.
Motion to pass the ordinance 45 by Mr. Richard, second by Ms. Ziegler. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins?
Yes.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. All right, very good. That's the end of legislation tonight. We're going to move on to other business. We'll start with upcoming meetings. Does, yeah. So, I don't know who wants to start. You want to, Mr. Bodkins?
Streets will be on the 9th at 7.
9th at 7 p.m. Very good. That's streets now.
Law and ordinances will be on Tuesday the 7th.
Tuesday the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Utilities will be on Wednesday the 1st.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Alt. Ms. Eager?
Police, fire, and health will be on Thursday the 16th at 7.
Very good.
Parks and Recreation will be the 15th at 7 p.m.
It's normally the second, are you moving it to the 15th? From 8?
Well, yeah, that's when it's always after the council meeting.
I have it on the 8th.
It's just always the second.
It's the second
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
This month is a little tricky because of the way June falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it the 8th.
That way it's not a special meeting, so we can do whatever. Move it as a special meeting.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes, Finance Committee, because of June, normally the third Wednesday is going to be on the 22nd, and Economic Development on the 21st.
Yes, okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else, council? Mr. Bodkins?
I just like to congratulate everybody for voting for Sarah Griswold. I think that's a very good project. They can use the help, I'm sure. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll send you back to school. I'll shoot.
Oh, my goodness. Long story, it's a good story.
Thank you. All right. Move on to the reports from the Mr. Satterfield. Start with Mr. Satterfield.
I'm going to pass these around. I apologize for being earlier. Monthly reports are required monthly reports.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, second. Thanks. Yeah.
That whole
Sorry, skipping you.
And I got 24.
Is this going this way?
That's the same
For the record.
Sure.
Every council meeting, they are not great at housing.
You got cash position.
There's no hanging out, that's where this is.
So if you start with the expense report, it should be two-sided on that, and the statement of cash is two-sided. The expense report month to date, we're $765,000 monthly expenses, which puts us at 39%. Target is about 42% for the end of May. We're nearing the end of May, so we're right on target for that. I will tell you that we are being diligent in the office with trying to pay the bills. They're running about 3 weeks behind right now. That's kind of where we're at. So for the bills that are out there, we're trying to get them done. I will get to the rest of that in a minute. Revenue report, month to date, $2.4 million. That is at 34% for the year. What we budgeted, target is again 42%. But that's what we're sitting with. Lastly is your statement of cash position. That was printed today. Revenues again are still being posted on a daily basis. And I will tell you that there are some negative numbers in here, but that it should not be too awful alarming, especially in like the police and fire pension. Street department actually looks okay, but we have not reconciled January, February, March, or April yet on the budgetary accounts, which means we have not made any transfers in those funds yet this year. So the police and fire pension fund is money transferred from the general fund to supplement that by ordinance. So we're working on getting that done. The gap audit is being done by the state auditor's office. They are wrapping that up. Ms. Amy has been in the office several times and is working on that, and Eunice is working hand in hand with her to get that information to them. We are now short-staffed by one. One of our clerks is transferred to a different department. That became effective on Monday, so now there's a two-man band, two-person band that is running the operation. That was civil service on Monday night, and the test is being posted for the clerk's position. By the end of the week, testing will be June 13th. Hopefully we'll have test posted by the 20th, and then we'll do interviews and move forward with that. So if you can look at your calendar, you're looking at least a month to a month and a half, 2 months of two people trying to get things done.
Mr. Satterfield, will the Cheshire assessment be paid off this year?
I'm sorry?
The Cheshire assessment, will that be paid off this year?
I don't think so.
No?
Cheshire is one of those things that was missed at the end of last year. A lot of times at the end of the year, legislation, there's a transfer from funds to zero that balance out. It was not done last year. There was a couple things that didn't get done in legislation. But the Cheshire is actually is part of the OPWDA debt, Mayor, I think. Or is it OPWC? I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah, it's OPW. No, excuse me, it's OWDA.
So that cannot be paid off. Or
okay.
We don't have the resources to pay it off.
Okay.
So,
Ms. Hall.
On your Satterfield, I would just like to say thank you for working so hard at the end of last year, trying to get trained and know exactly how to step in and work, even though we're going to be short a clerk. It's not going to be kind of the emergency that it was last year, and I also appreciate you. Well, I don't think it'll be nearly as bad. And I appreciate you being on top of, getting everything out there to hire someone else to take that spot. So I thank you for that. I think that says a lot. So I appreciate that. I think a boss or a leader who can step in and fill the role of leadership is important in our department. So thank you.
thank you. I will say this job is a lot more stressful than I thought it was. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have questions on the orders, the 42 ordinance, I know that there's going to be some conversation about moving 401 money into that potentially or to help reduce the debt. But I spent some time putting together a spreadsheet of what the debt looks like in the long-term debt, not only just those rollovers, but what we have sitting out there in OWDA debt, what we have sitting out there in OPWC debt, the electric bond that was paid off and will be paid off this year.
Next June? Or?
Yeah, I think one more payment for that, which leads kind of some light in the tunnel to maybe hammer that debt in the part of that bond debt for next year on the $800,000.
That $850,000.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that, but that's, Brian's right, we'll pay off that long-term historic debt next year and then take this note rollover and put it into permanent financing.
Yeah. Hopefully
we won't have too much interest rate purchasers regret, but what can you. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. French, did you get the email today from me on paycheck stuff? If you did not, please give me that.
I honestly, the last email I received was the.
Okay, so I will chat with you after the meeting, but
okay.
Because the timing council members get paid on the first paycheck, the first non-Saturday. It's weird how it plays out, but because you started in the middle of the month, I made sure that you got your stipend for May. So you got paid for that. But if you did not get because we emailed pay stubs, so we will communicate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry to take you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Satterfield. Mr. Palmer?
Nothing tonight, thank you very much.
Mayor?
Okay, I'll make it quick. I'm using notes made by Matt back here so I don't forget anyone. This is with reference to cleanup day. It's overwhelming. I'm sure people, all of you have been touched by a story about how long the queue was, etc. There's a list of people to thank. Rumpke Waste Management, a guy named Jim Myers, that some of you know, was there from the start to the finish. At the end of the advertised time, it was pretty clear we weren't going to be able to satisfy all of our residents. So Jim went and got another roll-off boxes. And so Jim and the 2 or 3 drivers they had, super job. And so that's number one. Willie Tire did recycling. I don't, we'll see as we fine tune it for next year, whether or not how well that worked. We haven't talked to Willie, but you had to go out there on South Street, drop off the tires separate from if you remember in past years, there was an empty 53-footer that we just loaded them up. So we'll work on that. There was a firm, Accurate IT. People do read these notices. Sometimes you wonder, but we had I don't know how many front loaders full of computers, old laptops, VCRs. I mean, just about any kind of electronic thing. So that was a real success. They came and picked those up. They're going to scavenge them. They've all left site. They were gone, I think Monday, Matt? Yeah, they were gone before I think we got here. So that's another group to mention. A couple of city employees at the line department, Dick Benner and James Tolley. The Benner's 68, and he's just a mountain of a man, and James was really an asset. Melissa's husband showed up, and if you know Rick, he was a key asset. He was there about half the time, was tremendous help. He's more of a volunteer. The names of that younger man and his kid, did we ever get their name? They came for an hour or two to begin. Father and son made me nervous with the kid in the middle of the flow, but they came and volunteered. I apologize that we didn't catch their name. Mike, for, I don't know, it seems like 3 or 4 years at least, was there from start to finish. And so I want to thank him for that. We were, and then it was Matt and Nikki and myself. My wife was there to direct traffic. But anyways, great effort there. Domino's came over and supplied pizza at the end. And it's a little touch and go with the hygiene on the hands and all the stuff people brought, but I think we all survived. So that's Leslie over there. Came over, took an order. It's really nice. Really appreciated that. And so anyways, that's the group. I think those are the entities. A lot of talk about maybe doing it in a different location next year. Matt?
I just want to add Mike Miller from the service.
Oh, I didn't. I totally apologize. Those 3 guys, Tolley and Benner and Miller, showed up here. The gravy job was out at Taylor Road. So those guys signed up at Taylor Road. They kind of visit people and help them in. These guys worked extremely hard. And so anyways, thanks a lot. I'd feel horrible if we had left out Mike. So I think he's helped most every year, kind of is into it. So that's good for the city, good for the residents. So that's what I've got. There's plenty going on. I thank council for the support of these ordinances. Getting things moved through really helps, and we've got a lot of business to conduct I really appreciate that. Gas, one more thing, gas tax makes me nervous, but I'm kind of born a little nervous. It's keeping track of that. I think a lot of us are driving less, and it's not a sales tax, it's an excise tax per gallon. So sometimes people think as gas goes up, our take goes up. It doesn't. It's all on the motor fuel consumed at the wholesale level. That's how it's taxed. So we're bumping along. It's not a banner year, but we haven't seen a tremendous fall off yet. So, and then as Brian said, I think income tax, don't want to get too excited or get too far ahead of ourselves, but we've not seen a dip there. So those are a couple of real key, gas tax and income tax. I would concur that we're doing okay. You can look at the utility fund balances and we can talk about that if you have a chance. Give me a call. We can discuss where we're going. So other than that, I appreciate, like I said, the votes and the time and attention. That's all I got, Mr. President.
Thank you. I don't know that I have anything additional to add tonight. I do have, Julie, we right now, Ms. Frank is not a chair of economic development. Is there anything we need to do is that something you'd be interested in taking the chair for economic development? I don't know, you need to put her on the spot, maybe we talk about that off.
Yeah, that's where Erin was, yes.
Right.
I don't know if the other two members would wanna either chair or assist her. I think they've agreed to, could assist her.
Don't hold your hand.
Yeah, they're good people on there.
Yeah, okay. All right. Very good. Well, that's all that I have tonight, so it's 8. Yeah.
To make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I saw your hand.
Second by Ms. Seeger. All in favor?
Aye. 8:37.
Do that, right? Next one, we're done.